Hi again, friends. Doug Karsh at Yost Ice Arena, and this is Inside Michigan Hockey. The Wolverines preparing for a weekend series with the Spartans of Michigan State up in East Lansing on Friday and then Saturday at the Joe Louis Arena.
We know it's playoff time. I mean, you can tell from our last 10 games, how well we've been playing, and especially coming back from the GLI. And I think now before we at Michigan State, us and them are both, fighting for points in the CCHA and to get into that NCAA tournament. So I think it's going to be a huge weekend. It's going to be obviously a huge rivalry, and we're excited for it.
We got to try our best to stay disciplined, and it's going to be a tough, emotional game. Things are going to happen. Things aren't going to go our way in the game, but we got to do our best to stay even level-minded.
Michigan coming off one of their better weekends of the year, holding home ice against the Miami Redhawks. Wolverines played Miami earlier this year, came away with no wins. This time around, Wolverines get the sweep.
I think we just wanted it a lot more than them. You could tell throughout both games that our intensity and our work ethic was just some of the best we've had all season. And I think obviously being here at home and having the fans into the game too, that really helped.
I think we're playing well. I think we're not playing as good as we should. I think Honey had to make a lot of big saves this weekend to keep us in those games, keep those big leads we had early. And I think we are playing well, but we're not doing everything that we can do. I think we're better than what we're playing right now, and hopefully this week we can string a couple more together against State here.
And we're joined right now by the head coach of the Wolverines, Red Berenson, and a couple of things about the series with Miami. First, just getting the 6 points at this time of year is huge.
Well, it's huge, Doug. We've talked about home ice, how important it is. In the remaining 8 games that we had, 4 of them at home. And that first game on Friday night was huge for our team. But to be able to bounce back Saturday with a shutout victory, that was a great weekend for Michigan.
The bad blood on Saturday night, the spillover, and now without Chris Brown for this coming Friday night. It sounded like, listening to your postgame, that you could see this kind of thing brewing in this series.
Well, you hope it doesn't come to that, but it did, and we'll lose Brown for the game, but at least he's healthy and he'll be back in Saturday. But that's that can happen. Doesn't happen very often, but it happened Saturday night.
Well, let's talk about the weekend and start with Friday night. You had no rust coming off the break.
Well, we were. I was pleasantly surprised at our team coming off the break because we hadn't played in 2 weeks, as you mentioned. I thought we jumped well. We had 3-0 lead. Doesn't get any better than that.
The 3-0 lead, then to follow it up with a one-shot second period and to get outplayed the way you were. Sean Hunwick keeps you close, but that had to be a little bit eye-opening.
Well, it was tough. The game took a different direction. They gave us 4 penalties in the second period. So you're killing penalties the whole period. And as you mentioned, we got isolated chances, but we scored an all-important goal in the period. So that, you're up in the game, but you're going to have a better third period, and we did.
You mentioned the penalty kill. To have them 0 for 12 all weekend, you had to be very pleased.
Well, it's huge, and you've got to give credit to Hunwick in goal. They generated some great chances, and it wasn't like they didn't get any shots. They got some shots, but he made the save, and then somehow we kept them from putting rebounds in or loose pucks in or scoring any ugly goals. And it was just, it was a real gut check for our team. But we got lucky, and we come out of it 0 for whatever on the weekend.
The goal by A.J. Trias, I remember a time in his career, he looked like he was an all-hands guy, could make anybody miss and stick handle in the phone booth, but couldn't finish. That was a finisher's goal, wasn't it?
Well, it was. And, we need more from that, from A.J. I think he's just starting to get it now. And he's a junior. He realized this weekend how important his role on the team was. They were playing head-on with the number 1 line from Miami, and A.J. had a terrific weekend as a result. So maybe the challenge brought the best out in him.
Your goalie, Sean Hunwick, got hit again. It seems like this has been a trend. Is there something going on that you've noticed?
Well, I don't think so, Doug. I think what happens is players are told to go to the net hard, stop in front of the net, and goalies have to kind of stay in the blue paint. But there was one incident on Friday, really, at the end of the game on Friday, and the referee called it. And I give the opposing coach in Miami credit. He sat that kid out of the next night. So he sat him out of the game. He was a good player, but he kept him out of the game just for that incident. So good for him.
You mentioned Saturday, and Saturday you get the win, the shutout win, but everybody was talking about Chris Brown's goal. It created quite a bit of buzz. That's a high-end play.
Well, we were having a good game, but the game was within reach. Let's face it, this is a 2-0 game, and then Brownie got that goal in the third period with whatever, 7 minutes left or something, and it just took all the heat off. But it was a goal scorer's goal. He beats one of the best defensemen in the league one-on-one and beat him bad and went in and looked like he'd done it 100 times before. Great shot, great goal. That was, I think the fans really appreciated that, and I know our players did.
That's still fun for Red Berenson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you can't beat guys one-on-one very often, but when you see somebody do it and they look like they've done it before, that was a good play for Michigan, and the timing couldn't have been better.
Well, Brownie playing the best hockey of his career at this time in his career.
Well, I think it's been a progression. He was a good freshman. He was on the all-rookie team. I mean, he's been an important player in our team every year, but, players mature. They grow up. They get smart, a little more experience, a little more of this, a little more of that, and he's starting to put it all together.
Well, you got the Spartans this weekend up there on Friday night, Saturday night at the Joe Louis Arena. Give us a scouting report.
Well, there's not much to say. The Sparties are kind of like us since the GLI. They've taken off, and they've had a good run. They just swept Ohio State at Ohio State, so they're coming off their best weekend. And we think we're coming off a good weekend, but we've got to be ready on Friday.
Is it hard for you to believe that this is a team that at one point this year had gone 7 in a row without a win?
Well, it is, and I remember saying I still liked our team. I thought they could be a good team, and I thought they could do it, and we're starting to prove that right. So they stuck together, good leadership, good goalkeeping, and all the little ingredients that make a team are starting to show their, I guess, the bright side of it. We saw the bad side earlier. Now we're seeing the best side.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Best of luck.
Thanks, Doug.
Don't forget, this weekend here on MGoBlue.com, you can catch highlights, Wolverines and Spartans immediately after each game, plus hear from the players and Coach Red Berenson. Michigan and Michigan State coverage all weekend long here on MGoBlue.com. We'll see you next week on Inside Michigan Hockey.